I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad. I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad. Doing no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad.
Yeah.
Baby, I'm bad.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad. Chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back. I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me. Ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact. Give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious. I'ma go cause something, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame, yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up. Baby, I'm bad. I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad. Do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad. Baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad. I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad. Do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad. Baby, I'm bad.
A green fox subscribes to the channel.
What is going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode. My name is TradeFly. I'm going to be your host today, bringing you some of the most important market news as well as technical analysis that you can actually use. Man, we got some news to talk about today. Bitcoin has moved down over the weekend, and we have been looking at a very key area, a critical area where we were likely to see a bounce, and we did get that bounce out of that key level. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at some potential trade opportunities coming up for both Bitcoin, Ethereum, TradFi. We'll look at things like Tesla, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of content, all kinds of fire setups. We are going to give you the sauce. If you guys are looking for some real trade setups, actionable trade setups, you are in the right spot. But first thing I'm going to do is give some shout outs to my homies in the chat, because you know that's how I roll. I love saying what's up to the fam bam. HRJ Trading, what up to you, bro? Thank you for being here. He's one of my paid analysts in the Discord. Come check him out. We got Alexandra G, the best mod in all of the space. What up, lady? Thank you for being here. Jesse Good Look, what up, dude? He is also one of our mods. How you doing, brother? Darren does things. Ayo, how you doing? We got Harp. Yo, what up to you, bro? Good to see you. Dylan VA. We got the usual suspects in here. How you doing, man? Scrolling down a little bit more, we got Trade Intuition, my man Joe. He's got a channel, check him out. And HRJ too, man. HRJ, check him out. He's got a channel as well. He's got a Discord he just opened up as well, so by all means get over there, support him. Much love to all the homies in the chat. Thank you for being here. All right, let's go over to the crypto bubbles, and you can see it is red AF out there. All right, we got a lot of things moving in the negative direction. A couple outliers, right? We got Saros at 7.3%, Hype at 2.3%, Morpho at 1.8%, and CRO at 1.8%. This is the top 100, but here nor there, it looks like the average of most of these coins is about 6 to 7% in the negative, but that is okay because that opens up opportunities for us to potentially get into some trades. Quickly over the total market cap, we'll get through this stuff pretty quick. That's at 3.89 trillion, down 2.36%. Fear and Greed Index is at neutral, that's 50. And then Bitcoin dominance is actually down. That's trending down. It's at 57.5%. Bitcoin is at 112,364 right now. That's down 1.73%. Ethereum is down to 4,500. Not too crazy, coming off the high this weekend, but it is down 5.13%. It has been a big mover over the last week, though. That being said, you know how your boy likes to roll. We get up to these all-time highs. You know, I like to take little shorts out. It's just my thing. So currently, I do have a short on ETH. I took out at 49.01. Thank you, Harp, for giving me the prod and saying, "Hey, bro, I thought you liked the short." You're right, I do like the short, and we're looking at a 67% return right now, just shorting the high on 10x leverage. Nothing too crazy, but here nor there, it has paid dividends. So Harp, shout out to you. And you know, I took it live. We were in the Discord, we were BSing, hanging out this weekend. I spent a lot of time in the Discord, probably about 4 hours in total. So get on over there, man. I definitely give some sauce in there, both for the squad as well as our paid premium group, which is the brigade. Check it out. That's about as much chilling as I'm gonna do, man. It's pretty cheap. It's 20 bucks for the premium side, and there's a lot of good alpha in the free side. So by all means, come over, check it out. No pressure. Let's get after it. First thing we're gonna do is what we call the daily degen, where I give you guys the opportunity to vote whether we go long or short. Currently, we're sitting at 11 votes, and you guys are 55% doom. Okay, so you guys are voting for a short right now. So understand, this is just a fun thing that we do for the audience. Gives you guys opportunity, and we don't do much TA on it. We just go ahead and send it. So let's find ourselves a little poo-poo-ba-doobie coin, and we will full send this thing. I'm just gonna go. I want to keep it quick. I see the market is moving right now. So we got PayPay on the books, 20x short. That's gonna go in right now with Bitunix. Here we go. It's in there. Full send. Like I said, we don't really do much TA on this. All right, so this is for some fun. We're having fun with it. That's how we're rolling. But there it is. It's in. We'll come back and check on that. Again, we are in an actual trade with ETH. That is up about 66% right now for a short. Okay, economic calendar. Again, real quick. Couple big things coming up here. You got durable goods month over month, GDP growth rate, and your core PCE price index, personal income month over month, and personal spending month over month. That is all coming up this week. All right, so some things that can shake the market. Not going to deep dive on what they are, what they do. Just understand that, you know, there could cause a little volatility in the market, especially if you're day trading or actively trading. If you're in a trade, just be aware that these things, this data can have an impact on the market. And that's kind of the big thing to take away from it. All right, one of the things we love here on the show is the liquidation heat map. All right, very, very important. Right now, you can see there is a hotspot of liquidity at about 111,500, or correction, 110,500. You can see a hotspot on the map. And then you got this kind of, you know, this area of liquidity. Now, when I say liquidity, I need you to understand what I'm saying when I say liquidity. All right, it's going to be stop losses, or it's going to be liquidation events. Okay, so that means people that have, you know, leverage positions, if they're going, you know, whatever, just for an example, 10, 20x, and these right here, this area, this hotspot, this is where they would get liquidated. All right, so there is an incentive by the exchanges to chase this liquidity that's on the books, right? Because that's how they would make money. A liquidation event, it goes in their pocket more or less. All right, so, you know, here's the hotspot on the map right now. We're going to keep a keen eye on that. This hotspot has been here since this little dip right here. This is a very strong like buy buying pressure that came in. Now, that being said, if you guys are following the market at all, there have been two very substantial buys by institutions. One was Strategy. The other one was Meta something. Okay, so there was two very big buys. I don't know if it was this weekend, today, whatever the case may be, but understand that there is buying pressure coming in, institutional investment. All right, so that does have a factor, and that is kind of why we kind of follow these things. Let's go over to the charts. All right, I know that's why you guys are here. Not too worried about the DXY right now, but we will start with Bitcoin. We'll cover a couple different charts there revolving around Bitcoin USD dominance, as well as the total market cap. All right, so we'll look at those two things, and then we're gonna transition. We'll do a little bit of TradFi, a little bit of something for everyone. Okay, so we're gonna look at some of these charts together, and let's get it going. Let's get it going. So this weekend, all right. This weekend, let's see, Friday, we had that nice move up. But one of the concerns that we had right here, and we talked about this on the show last week, was this trend line in confluence with a couple things, right? So this is the 2 hour right now. Let's get us on the daily. Let's get us on the daily here, because the 2 hour, didn't even realize that the 200 had crossed right there as well. But here or there, I was doing some back testing. I was doing strategies this weekend, just kind of testing. I think I found a couple good ones. 2 hour, it was actually a pretty nice one. So what we had is the POC of the range, okay? So we have a range right here, very distinct, very prominent. You have the POC, which is currently sitting at about 118,000. We have this trend line right here, legacy trend, goes back quite some time, all the way back to about April. All right, you can see support, right? That's good. Do we get that next bounce? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We actually got a breakout retest continuation to the downside is what we're looking at right now. So that does open up the possibility for some continuation to the downside. Now, but pump your brakes now. Don't get too excited if you're thinking about a short, because one of the things we have down here is, hey, we have the 0.5 fib retracement level, very strong level. Also the top of the range, we got multiple areas of resistance that could turn around and act as support. We're testing those levels right now. All right, so we're testing those levels. The other thing is that you want to look for too, and this is typically a nice little setup, is you're looking at where would there be liquidity, right? So liquidity would be down in this region, right around here. Let's put a little box on it, and then I'll break that down for you just a little bit here. So let's just say somewhere around here. All right, let's change the color so you don't think that it's resistance, but let's say that green is money, right? Green is money. So you got money sitting here, right? These liquidation events that I was just talking to you about on a liquidation heat map comes down, takes that liquidity, and then you see buying pressure come in, right? So buying pressure coming in, that's usually a nice little setup to take a long position. Issue is right now is that our trend now has developed into a little bit of a downtrend if you're going on the shorter time frames, right? It's a trend within a trend, and you must understand that the overall trend was definitely showing you a positive uptrend to the right, up and right. But now what you're starting to see, kind of lower time frames, is a potential lower high, potential for lower low, and could that continue to the downside? I think it's very, very possible. How many times are we going to hit on this area and get that move to the upside? I kind of think about it as like chopping a tree. All right, so if you're chopping a tree, sometimes that thing's just going to fall, like after you chop it enough times. All right, so your luck may run out. So be very, very careful right now would be kind of, the gist, the summary of this in terms of taking a long position. Now, could have we gotten in a scalp this morning? Yep, absolutely. Could have taken a little scalp this morning off of this bounce out of this area, right? Because you're seeing the buying pressure come in, liquidity got taken, low got swept, all the good things for a nice little scalp setup. Obviously, that's pre-show and not something that we can do live here. Now, this is going to be key to a lot of the analysis right now. It's going to be key to a lot of the analysis, and the reason is like I think this is the decision point. We have clearly indicated that this area of support, and now support once again. We have clearly indicated that this level right around 112 down to about 111 is key, is really key to seeing kind of the direction we're going to be headed for Bitcoin here in the near future. All right, so what we're going to be looking for is a couple things, right? Like if you want to see that continuation of the upside, well, we need to start seeing a change of character. We need to show us something where we can get over some of these key levels. The problem with getting over some of these key levels right now that I see in the near future is like there's so much of it, right? You got the value area low. This box right here in pink, yes, it's going to indicate resistance, but really this is something to remind me that we have both the weekly and the monthly pivot right here at this box. Let me say that again. The weekly and the monthly pivot are right here in this box, and you have the value area low. Then you have the moving averages just above you. All right, so you got a lot to fight through. Now, we've been here before. We've talked about having a lot of this resistance over top of you and then seeing, you know, a move through it, and you usually get a pretty aggressive move. So I would say taking a long position right now, time now, is probably not the right, I would say it's not the conservative move. I'm not gonna say it's not the right move. It's not the conservative move, knowing that you have all of this resistance in such a short area. Now, that being said, what I wanna show you is what we've seen historically before. Look at this, all right? Yeah, the nice push up, right? Set a high, came down, cool. Like it looks like your trend is starting to work its way down. Now this is the previous range. What happens? We get one more sweep of that liquidity, take that liquidity off the table. I mean, it's not perfectly similar, but it's pretty damn similar. All right, so we had to push up. Now, this was like the last sweep, right? We took that liquidity, and then ultimately we had that move up. That's on the table, right? Because we have seen it before. So one of the things that I would say look for is something very similar to what you saw previously. You get over these moving averages. Look, I mean, look at how eerily similar it is. All right, you get the moving average right here, you take the liquidity here. You got the moving averages here, you take the liquidity here. Now we haven't actually broke the moving averages, so understand that we're trying to get ahead of the charts. You got a 9 to 5, you got stuff going on in life, get ahead of the charts. How do you do that? Well, you start looking at some things like this where you're like, hey, I've seen this before. This looks familiar. So if you were to go up and press above these moving averages and start getting an ascending level of support, this is key, an ascending level of support. If you start seeing something like that again, odds are, man, we're setting new all-time highs. That's the odds. But these are the things that you have to look for. There's criteria. There's things that you need to be looking for and be aware of when you start saying, hey, we have that opportunity for an all-time high. I would not make that assumption down here. The assumption right now, if you're going to be, you know, very basic about it, is like right now we're starting a downtrend. It could be a reversal. You could get a change of character. It's very, very close to that. So just like there's opportunity here to the upside, we can actually be looking for opportunities to the downside too. And you're like, oh, it could go up, it could go down, it could go down. Great analysis, Dan. It's not about that for me. And so it looks like, you know, I definitely have a lot of new viewers in right now. I think concurrent was pretty high when I started. So I'm taking the time to tell you kind of how I operate for those that are new here. And I am very much of the mindset of letting the price come to me. All right. So it's not about saying, hey, where's it going to go from this point forward? Saying, hey, it's going to go up or it's going to go down. No. Like, we're a trading channel. We're looking to take good, high percentage trade opportunities. Well, how do we do that? We look for something like this. We're like, okay, cool. We got that ascending level of support. Now we may look for that long position right here. May not be the best opportunity unless you took that scalp this morning. The other opportunity you could be looking for when I say that is the potential short, but you're looking for a breakout retest to the bottom. So again, there's criteria to what we would be looking for. So you're breaking out, you come back, you retest that level, and you flip what is support into resistance. It looks very, very different. The price action will show itself very differently in these two cases. Right now, it's actually showing you that it's more likely to hold up. But if you were to get that breakdown, that clues you in, right? It clues you in. You're like, whoa, you got an aggressive move through that area of support. And that's what you'll see. And that'll be the difference. So good sign is when you see a long extended wick, right? A long extended wick is showing you that, hey, buying pressure is coming in. There are willing buyers in this area, and we know that there was some institutional buying. Not always, just for the record, man, anytime strategy buys doesn't mean this thing is going up. We have seen quite the opposite many times. They just buy sporadically. It's kind of insane. But here nor there, you do see some buying pressure, okay? And that's a little bit comforting right now to say, hey, I think that this could hold up. But do we form some sort of consolidation within this range? Do we start to range? So again, I'm showing you opportunities at both levels. I'm showing you about opportunities of where you could potentially take a long or you could potentially take a short. And this looks very different. Okay, so if you're looking at that, let's say, let me see if I can give you a good opportunity or example here of what you could be looking for. So this is obviously on the daily, but when I say that it's going to move through aggressively, like look at this candle right here. Like that moved through very aggressively. Now, when you take that down to smaller time frames, which is what you would do if you're looking for this breakout retest to take a short, you're going to have that aggressive candle, but then you would like to see it come back up and retest that key level. Okay, so let's see if let's go to an hourly, just so I can give you a little bit better of an example of what you should be looking for. All right, there you go, perfect. So you see how that displays very differently once you go down to the hourly. All right, so you are getting the breakout and retest. So it moved through very aggressively, did have some buying pressure come in, but ultimately retested that level, right? And then broke down. So that's what I'm talking about. You're gonna look for something a little bit more along the lines with that. And I mean, this isn't a huge move. So this is not like saying, hey, we're taking a short all the way down to zero, but there are opportunities to be had on the smaller time frames and smaller percentages. You're looking at about 2-3% moves. And then for me, you know, I like to put a little bit of leverage on it, about maybe 5x. I don't get too crazy with it. Sometimes though, you know, we will go a little bit larger. Now, we're looking for A+ setups here. All right, so you saw the thumbnail. This ain't no clickbait. When I'm looking for A+ setups, like, yeah, like I'm gonna sling around, you know, a 6-figure trade. The problem is right now is that's not there. So we did have an opportunity previously with coming down to 112. That opportunity is long gone. Like I said, I lose confidence as we retest this area multiple times. So what are we looking for now? I mean, in terms of like an A+ setup for me, man, I'm not looking for something maybe until all the way down to 100,000. Now, you're probably freaking out. Don't freak out. I'm not saying it's going to 100,000. I'm just saying that like if it came down here, all right, and we're testing a lot of these key levels down here and we know that there's liquidity down here, then that's where I would probably look at taking a larger capital play. But right now, we're nowhere near there. Now, if we start losing some of these levels and we start seeing that trend continue its way to the downside, we could be thinking about taking a heavy short. But again, I would like to see that. If I was thinking about taking a heavy short, this would not be the place that I would be thinking about doing it. It would actually be right around the golden pocket. So why? Why would that be? Like the expectation is you come down to a naked point of control, right? That's a big thing for a lot of people. And you're reestablishing the range, all right? Reestablishing the range, you got the 618, the golden pocket, everybody loves that. You would expect a bounce, but if you don't get that bounce, if you get what I was talking about before, you get that breakout retest to the downside, man, that's a juicy setup for following the trend and trend continuation going down to at minimum down to the platinum pocket, the value area low, retesting those levels. And but that could be a juicy little move from 107 down to about 104. That could be an opportunity too. So what does this look like? All right, so there's a couple things that you need to take into account if you are going to take a potential position here, which like I said, I'll do these things live. It's just a matter of catching it at the right time. But let's look at this. How do we protect ourselves? And this is really important part of it here. Looking at a long position, let's say we do come down here. All right, so we do know that there's got to be liquidity down here, right? There's got to be liquidity down there because that is where we found support. So this thing's got to go pretty deep to actually set that up. But what you would be looking for, right around probably about 98K, is something like this, right? And so you know where the wick is, you know where the liquidity is. You are going to set your stop loss around the wick or below the wick, right? And so you know that the liquidity is off the table, but now where are we looking for this price action to go? And this is where it becomes, vital to understanding where is support, where is resistance, and that is where you're basing your take profit around. Now, there's different ways to skin the cat, right? Like you can go all in, right? It's typically the way I go. I don't usually tier out my take profits. There are opportunities like that sometimes. If you want to use this as a TP1, You want to use that as a TP2. You want to use that as a TP3. To each their own, okay? But for me, I'm in, out, wham, bam, thank you, man. Because if it were to come all the way down here, the trend would be clearly showing us that the likelihood is that the price action would continue to the downside. If we come from time now to this area, I got to get in, I got to get out, I got to be quick about it. I think a 4 to 5% move to the upside before we see maybe a rejection and continuation is the safe, conservative way to get in and out of a trade. You're looking at probably about a 4 to 1 risk to reward too, right? So that is a Gucci nice little setup. We're usually looking for at least a 2 to 1, 3 to 1 is ideal, but a 4 to 1 or a 5 to 1, man, you're talking primo stuff there, right? And then when you come back left on the chart, you're looking at it, you're like, value area low. Does this line up? Does this make sense? And it does. It makes sense because you can see very, very clear support and resistance. Look at how this line has been honored. Now, it's not always typically used that way, right? We're talking about volume, but you can see that there's very clear support and resistance in that area, and that is right around 103.9, 104, right? So that could be a very juicy little setup for you. Again, hear me out. Not saying it's going to come down here, but if it was to come down here, are we ready for it? And do we have a plan? I would say yes. All right. So that is how I operate. I know that was really long-winded. I gave you some sauce in the middle of it, trying to teach you the thought process and the understanding of the way I work. But that is actually, what I was kind of alluding to, so you understand. So gave you a lot in there. All right. That's Bitcoin in a nutshell here. Let's go over just to the USDT dominance. Let's see, what's that doing? All right, so why do I look at this? Well, there's an inverse relationship, and we are at a very key level of resistance. Inverse relationship, what is that? What does this mean? Well, if you're at an area of resistance, you could see a rejection, all right? And a rejection is actually a good thing. For this to come down, retest this level would make a lot of sense. The problem is look, you're starting to develop a trend line. All right, you're starting to develop an ascending level of support going into a horizontal level of resistance. That is actually showing you that there's pressure for it to break to the upside, more likely based on that. Okay, that's pattern right there. These ones are usually pretty solid. If you see a nice little bounce off of this area, so that means, yeah, price could go up for a minute for Bitcoin, but if we get a bounce out of here, that would actually be bad, and that you would see some potential downside for Bitcoin. It could come back up, retest this level. So understand, like, this is really nice to look at while you're in some trades, because you get those bounces at the key levels, right? We talked about this one of rejection, right? Then you're looking for this to go down and Bitcoin price to go up. You get that bounce where this goes up, Bitcoin price goes down. Like, you can play the game here. And this will help you sometimes identify the level of support or the level of resistance that you may hit. Like, you're saying, okay, cool. Like, I'm looking at a couple key levels. This one can be like, well, if we get up here, like, you're pretty much like marking that level and saying, okay, cool, this is likely the stopping point. And we saw that with 112. We saw that with 112 when we got this area of resistance here for the USDT dominance. It's a mouthful. Anyways, keep an eye on it. Again, this actually is looking positive in terms of the, I won't say positive, that's probably the wrong word here. It's looking like it may break to the upside. And that's actually a negative in terms of price action. All right, so total market cap, let's see how we're doing there. We are under 4 trillion, which is a nice magical round number. And we're quickly working our way back down to an area that we have retested previously. All right, so we had a nice bounce out of that area at about 3.72. You're hoping for that again. So again, how do you apply this? Well, if it's coming down here and you've seen support here in this area before, you've seen resistance here before and support here before, look at how many times it's honored this level. You're going to keep an eye on that, because when it comes down, this is now paralleled with Bitcoin and crypto in general, right? So you come back down to 3.72, 3.73, expectation would be what? You could probably get a bounce. All right, so as you're in that trade and you see something where it comes down to this level for total market cap, but then you see the USDT dominance going up to an area of resistance, what is the expectation, right? That you're probably going to get a bounce at whatever key level you're looking at. All right, and now that is important, because if you're getting into a scalp or an intraday trade, that adds a lot of confluence to you getting into a position. And I think that's very important, and why I actually look at these things. Let's go over to the chat real quick. I want to say what's up to the peeps. SFP trades should not be entered into on a limit on the wick low. Yes, you can get away with it most times, but you mark it in after the wick is swept usually. I don't know if you're talking to me or if you're talking to someone else, but you know my game at this point. And yes, the wick is a point where I put the stop loss. I'm looking for bullish structure on that currency. All right, so I'm looking for either like a bullish engulfing, some kind of bullish structure, some confirmation that that area is likely to provide support. And what I also do is I find those key levels that I'm looking at. So it's usually revolved around a key level. So we've talked about this before multiple times. I'm wondering if you're talking to somebody else at this point, but here nor there, everyone kind of knows that's been watching me for a while. What are we looking for? Hey, we got this area of support right here, right? Like this is before this happened. So you don't get confused. We have this area of support. We've identified this area of support. We talked about 112. We say, hey, 112 is a line in the sand. What were we looking for? One more wick down to take the liquidity. That's this right here. Right there. Let me circle it for you. We took the liquidity, and then we want to reestablish the range. Now you go to lower time frames, right? You're looking at the hourly, the 15-minute, and you start seeing it reestablish the range, then cool. That's an opportunity to take a long position. So hopefully that clears that up. Again, not really sure if you were talking to me or not, but you guys know the game. You know how I like to trade. I want to see the liquidity get pulled off the table before I'm willing to take a long or a short position. I don't think we're going to see that here today per se, but we will keep a look at it. All right. Let's move over to some TradFi here. Let's see. Actually, you know, let me just scan the chat real quick. I got to get some more call outs here, man. I see some people in the chat. I'm going to say what's up to them real quick. You guys are flowing in. We got our dude Harp in here. What up, bro? Good to see you. Bingo, bango. Dutch, what up, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you in the chat as well. Al Jr. You know now. Don't drink and drive. Smoke and TradeFly. Let's go. Al Jr., what up, bro? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well with you. Let's go. Pierre, what up, bro? Good to see you in the chat as well. He said, how far down do you think we're going on Bitcoin? I'm not a prediction guy. So like, again, I'm not gonna really predict how far down we're gonna go. I'm going to key around levels. All right. So like, I'm gonna be looking for levels where I can have trade opportunities. All right. One of the biggest levels that I'm seeing right now for me is probably around, 100 to about 98,000. I think that would be a really nice area to look for a position. You have the golden pocket here, right around the 618 to the 66. That is a nice little zone, right? If you're coming back left on the chart here, you can see where there was definitely, you see the two peaks here, you see resistance, right? 1, 2, and then you're coming up to this area. And now it's also the POC within, so you have a naked point of control, you have the golden pocket, you have a clear area of what was resistance. You like to see that flipped into support, obviously, which it kind of is already, but here nor there, it's an important zone on the map or on the charts here, which is, that's looking at about 107.5 to about 108.5. And so you're looking for price action out of that zone. But again, got to be careful. It's going to get tricky because the trend is really looking like it's starting to flip on you. But we've seen this before. And that's a thing. Like, we've seen this before. Like, we see something that looks like this, we're looking for that move to the upside. If we don't see that, if we see a continuation of it breaking down, right? Like, then we know that, things are changing a little bit. And that gets a little bit weird, to be honest with you. But here nor there, I do think you'll see an opportunity for at least an intraday trade, 107.5 to about 108.5. I think their opportunity is there. So keep an eye on that. Again, we've already retested the high of the range. We've already bounced off the high of the range. 0.5, all that good stuff is still alive and well. Now let's zoom out a little bit. If you want to zoom out a little bit, and you want to look at like, hey, like, where can we really find support? Right now we're still okay. Like, on a macro perspective, like, you're good. Like, the trend is still alive. It wasn't following, like, this trend was very specific. It's following that, but in terms of setting a lower high or correcting a higher low, you're still fine. You're still fine. You're just retesting the top of the range. So no big deal right now. It's just when you see that breakdown, like, if you start to see price starting to work its way down here, like, that's when we're going to get a little weirded out, right? Like, that's not ideal to start breaking this area here. Just from a zoomed out perspective, not ideal. How low could it go? I mean, again, I'm not a huge prediction guy. Where would I likely, where would I be very aggressively buying though? I mean, you can see it right here. This to me is a very clear buy zone. All right, so I can label that. I will label that, and I'll put my stamp on that at about 72, about 70, yeah, 73, 72. I mean, just look at how much respect has been for that level. So I do see that as, a clear area where I would actually, invest largely into Bitcoin, right? If you come down to that level. But I would anticipate fully that you're going to get a price reaction out of that zone. Does it hold up? Does it go up forever? I don't know. This is why I trade. That's a hard assumption to make. So, but down to this level, I just don't know, right? So there's one thing too. Let's see if I can pull this up so you can actually see it. Look at what we've seen to just like over the last 2 years. You get this little dip in September and people start asking questions like, hey, how low are we going to go? But then first week into the second week of September over the last 2 years, we've seen moves to the upside with very aggressive moves, October, November timeframe, even really into December. And that's been the last 2 years. Is it going to follow perfect every time? Maybe, maybe not. It's definitely been a lot more, like, I would say less volatile this year, which is kind of hard to imagine. But like you can see some of the aggressive moves that, I mean, we didn't really get. This one may have been in confluence with the ETF. I think this might have been the ETF. Is that 24? Yeah, I believe that was like when we had the ETF stuff. Don't hold me to that. I think they've been around for over a year though now, if I remember correctly. But that being said, man, I mean, if you're just looking at the past 2 years, we actually should kind of expect in a 4-year cycle, if you're into that as well, there's a little confluence between like what we've historically seen over the last 2 years and a 4-year cycle that kind of align there of where we could see a potential move, really a positive move over the next couple months. So not even the next August, September. So, maybe in a couple months. In a couple months, we could see some upside movement. So do we see a little cool off, a little bit of a pullback here before we see that big move up before the end of the year? It's up for grabs, man. We'll see. We shall see. Again, not in the prediction business. Not my thing. All right. Let's jump over to the NASDAQ real quick for those that are tuning in for a little bit of TradFi type stuff. There's a key level we've been looking at here. And you guys are probably tired of hearing it on this show. But for those that are new, because we do have some new people watching, this area right here at about 20 even to about 20,200, top of the range. You would like to see that flipped officially from resistance into support. Okay, so if price action were to work its way down for whatever reason, then that would be a nice little opportunity, I believe, to take a long position on the NASDAQ. You can see that the 200 is aggressively moving up. Like, I mean, look at the trajectory right now of the 200. So at some point, this is going to add confluence and it is going to align with this area. So, I mean, you do have value area low, POC of the range, like all of that stuff is all right below. But I mean, here nor there, I think that that's going to be a nice opportunity, because when you really pull back and kind of look at things like, hey man, yeah, we get these moves up, nice little pullback, but up and right we go pretty much for the NASDAQ. So, keep an eye on that. If you're looking at an opportunity to get in at a better price, at some point, it's probably going to come back at least to here. Okay, I would say at least. If you want to look at the 0.382, which is your technical area that you would like to see a fib retracement, I just think that's very aggressive right now. I mean, that's a big pullback, man. I just don't think that's the way right now. I think you can find a nice little trade off of this level first, but you could ladder in as well, coming down to the 382. That's kind of your technical area. You'd like to see a bounce and see that bullish continuation. That's what I was anticipating initially, and I think that's just not going to happen now. So again, this is the level that I'm going to be looking at for the NASDAQ. I'm personally interested in taking a position, and I probably will. I'll probably do it live if we do pull back there. But here nor there, we got to wait for that time. So right now, that is that. Let's look over at MicroStrategies, because they have just dropped some more coin, or really strategy now, sorry. they've just bought more Bitcoin. So let's take a look at that. Let's make sure that this is all tidied up here. Yep, you got the 382. So yeah, it came down pretty darn close to the golden pocket. You were what, about $5 away from the golden pocket. Got a nice little bounce out of that area. You are seeing some buying pressure that is indicated here by the indicator. You did get a true 7 flash as well. Haven't been looking at the indicators as much, but this is ChartPrime indicator. True 7. I really do like the true 7. It's pretty good, man. So when you see it, the brighter spots, right? You see these bright spots, I'm not gonna say they're predictive in nature, but it's one of the few indicators that I would lean towards and say that like it's pretty close. All right, so understand that like the first piece of this right here is when it flashes. So like that's pretty early on, like in, you know, this little period, this little rejection, right? You had quite a few candles that were like, nope, rejection, we can't break through, and poof, down. But like, this got you ahead of it. This definitely flashed, right? And it's the first half of this signal. First half of the signal, next candle close, that's when that signal flashes. Okay, so like it's saying, hey, you could be potentially seeing a reversal on the 4 hour. And then you get here, this is not a flash, this is just dull, but this right here is a flash. Okay, so again, you get that flash, it's saying, hey, there's a potential that we could see a little bit of reversal. We come back down to the golden pocket, get that bounce, had the flash, and then you had a little bit of upside so far. We'll see how that continues. But if you're looking for a position on micro strategy or strategy, sorry, I keep calling it micro strategy. Forgot they dropped the micro. The trend is looking okay. Not quite ideal to lose this level here. You don't really like to see that. Let's look. You lost the 200 as well on the 4 hour. Let's see what the daily is showing. So you are under the 200. So that's going to be tough, I would say, to take a long right now. I would say on the daily, probably your better area is all the way down here. And I'm not saying that it's going to go down here. So again, understand the way I work is this is just like, hey, where do we have a buy zone or an area I would be interested in taking a long position? I would say right around 240 to about 225 or so could be a nice little opportunity. Now, you got a lot to work through, but you are under the 200. But of course, you have all these fib retracement levels that could get touched or not get touched or respected. We shall see how that plays out. Let me just make sure that is adjusted correctly. It is. But if you're looking at this, right, like if you're looking for bullish continuation, which is very much still on the table, get back over the 200, get back over the 382, and like these moving averages, like you got a lot of confluence right here. So this is something I would keep an eye on in the very near term for strategy. Why? Well, look at all the confluence you have. All right, you have the 382. It was previous support, very clear by the price action. Very, very clear by the price action. Now you have a horizontal level right there where the 382 is at 371. So if you're breaking the moving averages, you're breaking the 382, then I'm looking at a breakout retest. And this is where we're saying, hey, we might be able to take a long position on strategy. Now, very important that, again, you're looking for the price action, all right? You're looking for the bullish candle structure here around, right around the 382, maybe a little bit higher or so, but you're going to be looking for that bullish structure, okay? So like if you can't get above it, or if you waffle or like it's a little fake out, you come up and then work your way back down under that level at about 371, then you're not taking that. You're looking for a nice strong wick out of that area, okay? So nice strong wick. What do I mean by that? When I'm saying you're looking for a nice strong wick, you look at this, man. Like, so if you're looking at these candles right now, like it's not showing you much, but this one right here showed you, hey, like there's buying pressure coming in. So if you come back down to this area, if you get a breakout, retest that level, you want to see a nice strong wick, a couple bullish candles on the backside of it, and then you would be looking for a potential long position. Where could it go? That is the big question. That is where, you know, you got to make some decisions on where you're going to get out of here. So I would say I would look right around here. So this is kind of where I would see an initial rejection based on the horizontal level. All right, you can see resistance. You can see a little try to hold support here, resistance, and then ultimately it made a move through. All right, so that's all important. It's all very important when you're looking at that horizontal level. Let me see if I can get you a nice little horizontal there. All right. Well, I'm going to have to adjust it because I have it kind of hidden. Let me get this going here. Let's see. What did I do to that? There we go. The opacity's off. All right, sweet. So you got a nice horizontal level right there. Up to you how you want to play this game, right? Like you can take it up to here, which is about a 6.9% move, or, you know, this is one of those times where you look at it and you're like, hey, maybe I TP1 here. You know, I don't do that too often. TP2 here, where you see resistance. TP3 here. Like, that's all on the table. I think potentially with this one, or are you going for the gusto, going for the banger? Probably not something I would do, to be honest with you. So for me, I'm a lot more conservative. I'm taking that 6% win, and then I'm just putting that in the piggy bank, and I'm waiting for the next setup, honestly. So what would that look like? Let's put a box on it. Here we go. So we're looking at strategy, looking for a potential breakout retest coming up to this horizontal here. That's about a 6.91% move. Really, the wick is what's driving our risk to reward. So we would like to see at least a 2-to-1. So I just kind of pre-populate that with a 2-to-1. If the wick comes down and we get that buying pressure coming in, we reestablish the range over about 371, 372 in that area with that bullish structure, then we're saying, all right, cool. We have that opportunity to take a position with a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Now, if it's better, like you get less of a wick, you know, you could have, you know, a 3-to-1. But I mean, it's really all based off of your stop loss there. So, or the wick to be more transparent. So looking for that, there is a potential, hey, like if it breaks this area, like you're like, oh man, I could miss that big move. You could, but like the odds are, let me fix this a little bit. The odds are you're likely to see a very similar structure. You see this over and over, right? Look how it moves in waves. Look how it moves in waves. So like we broke down, we came back up and retested, right? So like, let's say you were in a short, and I just want to explain, you know, getting out, getting in, getting out. Like if you're not going to hold this for more than a year, which you're trading, you're likely not to, then you're not going to really reap the benefits of long-term capital gains, right? So to lose this incremental percentage is not a big deal. What this does protect you from is round tripping it, right? So something like this, where let's say you took this short, this is just kind of the inverse. You take a short, you know, from that level, it comes back up, it retests it, cool, you know, but ultimately what happened is like you would have won the trade here, right? Let's say you just took it down to the 382. You would have won the trade, but then ultimately what happened is it round tripped, it went upside down, and you would have actually been stopped out of the trade. So this is just kind of inverse looking at it if you were in a short position, and why I'm kind of a big proponent of just kind of taking those singles, taking those base hits, right? And so we're just looking at it this way, you know, you just flip it. You're looking at it this way and you're like, okay, cool. If I take the win here, actually it would be right here. Take the win here, cool. But if price action were to work its way back down, like you don't want to get stopped out, you know, when you really could have won the trade. And then what you're likely to see, you see it over and over again, because like, look at the structure, look at how this works. You know, you could see a breakout retest of this area right here. So where you found an initial rejection, because you're going to see this, you're going to see, you know, a rejection likely, comes back down, retests this area, and then works its way up, and just kind of like rinse, repeat. So let's just move this out of the way, and then let's take this out. So let's just draw kind of the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying this is exactly how the price action is going to play out, but you could see something like this. You come up, and you see like a little bit of rejection again, and then ultimately it moves through, and then it comes back down, and then it goes back up, and then it comes back down, and then it goes up. Like that's very normal to see with price action. Like if you just zoom out a little bit, like look, man, it's not just straight up, it's not just straight down. You see these waves, right? You see it up and down, you see highs, higher highs, lower lows, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of what you're looking at, and that's how you can actually stay in this trade or continue the trade, is if like, hey, like I get out, I take my win, all right, take that money to the piggy bank, and then I get back in and I look at another opportunity. This is a more conservative, higher probability play, is when you're seeing a breakout retest in my mind. All right, so you know, I've just had more success with that, so that's what I would recommend to you guys. All right, let's go to Tesla. Haven't looked at Tesla for a couple of days here. Woohoo! Look at that. So we talked about this one. So I posted a setup. So just for like transparency's sake, I did post a setup, and that one would have been stopped out, but we talked about it again on another show. I didn't post it again. I did not post it again. But we talked about it like the next day. We talked about, hey, like it came a little bit further down than we were expecting, but the opportunity is still there. And this was it. This was the opportunity we were looking at for Tesla. Oh man, so it's kind of tough. We took this box all the way up. I don't know, honestly. Just looking at some of the selling pressure right there, coming back, seeing the horizontal. If you did jump on that, I'd probably close it. I mean, it could keep running, but I would probably close it, honestly. You're just getting up to a nice area of resistance there. Got a 7% win, 2-1, all looks Gucci. Look at that. That's a beaut. That's a beaut for Tesla. We did that one live, so I just didn't post it in the Discord. But that's some of the sauce you get here. So that is, you know, pretty much gone. Let's see if there's any other opportunities here for Tesla. Yeah, that's really tough in this area right here. I would say you might come up here and try to grab some liquidity. We can get rid of that since the sell wall is already there, or the sell power it says. It may come up and try to grab some liquidity that's up here. So what am I talking about with that? Liquidity is likely to be right about here. We'll keep it green. So if you see something where the price action works its way up, takes us liquidity, and then quickly reestablishes back below, it's just kind of tough. I don't have like a true line in the sand with this, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to look at it just to, you know, you're looking at it live. I want to make sure that I'm not giving you bum gouge here. Get rid of this. Don't need that. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's take this off. That's your high. Yeah, I don't. Let me see. Because you got the horizontal that's right here, but your liquidity is right here. So that one's pretty tough. I don't know that I would take a short out of this area, even as tempting as it is. I think your better opportunity is probably down here at 275. So yeah, that's probably where I would be looking. Like right here, you can see that there's going to be liquidity down here, just based off of finding support on Tesla at about just below about 270. So if you reestablish the range, so if you got some movement to the downside here, again, not predicting that it's going there, you got to understand that. Just saying that, like, if it does come down here, you know, are we ready? Yeah, taking an opportunity here. And I would say, yeah, somewhere around 270 to 275, just given some of the historical price action where you're seeing very clear areas of resistance, clear areas of support. I do like that area for a potential opportunity. So let's just do a little screen capture of this. Hey man, you gotta have receipts, man. It's half the battle here in this game. Gotta have some receipts. All right, cool. We'll download that. Winner chicken dinner. Let's come on down and start looking at the next opportunity. So, you know, this is kind of my thing, right? Like I work a 9 to 5. How do I get ahead of it? How do I get into some potential trades, or, you know, look at some of these opportunities? And it looks weird to be like, hey, like down here at 275, 277 in that area, you know, that's where kind of my next look is. But that's because I'm patient, all right? And so I like to look for quality setups, and this, I believe, would probably be one based on some of the horizontals, okay? The thing that I'm not as keen on, is like, hey, like moving averages are way up here, right? Like we don't have a lot of, in terms of support besides this horizontal to rest our heads on. Let's go ahead and bring back up that fib retracement level though. That could provide us a little bit of clarity. So you take the low to swing high. And so okay, so yeah, that aligns with the golden pocket, yeah. So that makes me feel a little bit better about that level. I think that could be a nice opportunity. Now this is it's just an if. It's an if then, right? So think about that. Think about my mindset being kind of if then. And that's how I'm thinking. If price comes down here, then I'm looking at this. And so that'll kind of help you like with that process of being like, all right, well, that makes a little bit more sense. Not really predicting like it's going to go down there, but if it does come down there, that gives us the opportunity. So yeah, I do. Let me see here though. The problem, we can move this down maybe a little bit. The problem is where we're getting out, and does it give us a 2-to-1? So it's really got to stay in there. It's got to stay in that golden pocket to really get that 2-to-1. It's got to stay in. So that just helps you with trying to determine whether you're going to get a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1. But that is where I would get out. That's only a 6% move. I say only. 6% is actually really nice for a single trade. That could happen pretty quickly. Opportunity for 6%, 2-to-1. You can see right here. And that really revolves around the golden pocket as well as a very clear horizontal. All right, so it's a nice little setup there for a Tesla. Let's see here. Let's go back to the chat real quick. Say what's up to you guys. Dusty Hunt, what up, bro? Good to see you. Did y'all kill Biddy? No, I ain't kill no Biddy. Diddy has entered the chat. F-Bomb, what up, man? Good to see you. RS Miller, how you doing, bro? All right, I think I talked about that. Let's see here, scrolling down a little bit more. All right. All right, DDT, heading out later, bro. Much love, man. Let me see here. Just gonna go over, check what we got here. Got 33 still watching, man. I love to see it. Love to see it. Hope you guys are getting some alpha. If you do, enjoy it. If you do feel like you're getting some alpha, go ahead and like, man. That would be very, very helpful. Let's check on the old daily degen. Daily degen, not looking all that great. You guys are, look at you guys have flipped it. 24 votes. You are now 58% moon. So daily degen, for you guys that are new here, I give you guys the opportunity to vote on whether we go long or short. You guys, I believe, took short on this one, and it had a nice little bounce there. So there's an opportunity though. It is not all lost. It is not all lost for you guys on the daily degen. Don't you worry, because you are fighting with a little horizontal here. All right, so you want to see that hold up. You see that hold up, I think you're going to be good here. What do we got? Oh, we only got like 5 minutes left. Maybe I'll hold it for you guys. Maybe I'll hold the daily degen. I've done that for you before. Oh, I did that the other day, by the way. I zeroed you guys out. You were down, I believe, 20%. And it was looking similar to this. We got to an area where I saw either support or resistance. I was like, let me hold this for you, post show and see what happens. And it got that support or that bounce or whatever it was. Like, it looks like right now it's fighting with this resistance. So we'll see. I think if it breaks, it's over. If it holds, then you guys have the opportunity to at least come back down and zero out and be even on the day. So we'll see. Looks like it's trying. What are we on here right now? We're on the 3 minutes. So that's going to be pretty aggressive in terms of candles, but there you go. It's coming back a little bit. But hey, man, this E-trade looking good, man. 64%. That's a real one. We did take that trade this weekend, and that's just me being me. I like shorting the all-time highs. It's just my thing. I'll tell you what. Go back. I challenge you this. Go back and fact check me. Because we did some measuring on Bitcoin, and I believe it was the last 5 out of 6 all-time highs. If you were to just blindly put in a short and say my limit or my take profit is 15%, you would have won the last 5 out of 6 shorts on the all-time high. People take profits. It's a psychological thing, and that's part of like this game, is understanding that like it's not just all about the charts. There's a psychological part of this, and to take trades, based on psychology, like it does work sometimes. And the proof is in the pudding. We went back and we measured it all out. We did in the Discord. Like I said, I was in there for like 2 hours, just kind of going through strategies, looking at different, like just measuring that, like seeing like, hey, if you were to take a short off the all-time high, how often would it play out for you? And again, 5 out of 6. The other thing I gave a little alpha on was the Heikinashi. So here's something real quick for you before we get out of here. So Heikinashi, if you go right here, let me pull up the charts. There we go. Hikinashi. And then go to the weekly. I'm not gonna go through it all with you. What I would say, get rid of that nonsense. Get rid of all this craziness. All right. It's a stupid simple strategy. Literally, candle flip on the Hikinashi up to candle close on the flip. Like, take it along. That's a 43% move. Down the Hikinashi to the close. Got to take the open, the close, 48%. Now it gets beat up in consolidation. So if you were to get into this, like you're like, hey, let me do this, and I don't recommend like throwing a lot of capital at it, but go ahead, go back and back test it. Go back and back test it and fact check me, and you're gonna be shocked that just Hikinashi on the weekly it works pretty well. It works pretty well. So I challenge you to go check that out. We're not gonna do it all. We've done it before where we went through all of the data and I showed you it was like, I think it was like 200% returns or something crazy like that. Just Hikinashi weekly. So, all right, let me see here. What do we got? We got a couple minutes left. Let's do this. Give me one. I don't care if it's a stock. Give me one stock. Give me a crypto, whatever you guys want. One in the chat. First one in the chat. I'll take a quick look at that. Quick kind of top down. And then we'll get out of here. Keeping it quick. We're doing about an hour here. Gave you guys, I think, couple setups. And of course, Libra. That's been removed from some exchanges. So yeah, we're not going to do that unless you want to short it. ETH. There you go. Gotcha, Adrian. Welcome, by the way. All right, let's look at ETH. It's a good call. It's pretty popular right now because it's had a very aggressive move up. Here we go. Let's take the Hikinashi off. All right, ETH. So we already had a play. We had a really nice setup on ETH at about 4,000. But I think that's back in play. I think about 4,000 is back in play. Look at this. This is why we were looking at it. Horizontals come into play very, very often. Let's see. I think we need to adjust this though, because we had a move to the upside. And I actually like this. And it may, let me see here. Let's go to that's the weekly. That's super aggressive. Let's go to the 4 hour. Actually, daily real quick. I just want to see what the moving averages are. There we go. So the 50 is working its way up. I do. Yeah, I like that. So, right, we have a clear horizontal. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Very clear horizontal. All right. You got a nice bounce out of that area. What does that mean if you get a nice bounce out of this area, right? Right off the 21. We loved this. We were talking about this on the show. We talked about it in the Discord. 4,000 was a pretty key level, and the 0.5 was down here. That's adjusted only because, you know, price action continued to the upside. Well, one, we need to keep an eye on the 382 and just if you're seeing that continuation. But why do I like this area? A few reasons. Horizontal clear. Liquidity is probably down below, right? That was the point I was getting to, is that there's liquidity right around here. So now you have a nice little area where you could see a bounce, you know, off the golden pocket, right? So you have a technical area to see a bounce. You have liquidity in this zone right here. So technical area to see a bounce, liquidity below this area of support, right? So a couple metrics are getting hit there. You know, getting liquidity off the table. Don't want to see that anymore. So if you see a wick down and a nice bounce, reestablishing the range over about 4,100, you're looking at an opportunity, I think, for a long position. But I'm not saying take that up because you have now kind of come down below this area of support. So this is, again, is to get in, get out on things like this, right? Especially when you're seeing pullbacks. Like, that's get in, get out. Like, you don't necessarily want to ride that one up. I don't know that's the safest move to make. But let's go ahead and put a box on it to add a little bit of clarity. All right, a little long position. What's a realistic area to take it up to? What do you think? right about there, about 43.50 or so. You got the 21 SMA, got a very clear horizontal in conjunction with the 382. Even though it's not the way you should use it, this is more for a fib retracement. But you've heard me say it before. It's crazy how many times that line, the 382, will line up with both support and resistance. It just happens to line up this time. So now we're bringing the stop loss up, and what do we say? If you get that bounce right at the golden pocket, you also have the 50 SMA working its way up. Come on, man. I'm taking that. All right, so there's a nice little setup for you on ETH, coming down to, you know, about 4,000 again, but for different reasons and a different opportunity, right? You got liquidity down here, 618. There's a lot lining up there that I actually like quite a bit for a potential trade opportunity on ETH. Let's go ahead and just zoom out just a little bit here. See if I can incorporate the previous price action and make this look any kind of nice. I can't. So let's just go back to that. We'll look at it. And here we go. So nice little setup there for ETH. We'll take a picture of that. We'll put that in the Discord later. Cool. All right. Now, you're probably looking for maybe a little bit of a macro. Would be my guess. Let's zoom out. Look at that. Now, hey man, you do the breakout retest of this area right here. I mean, you're looking for this to really move. Like, you have a lot of potential, but the thing is, you're not really doing that right now. So it's kind of a wait and see in terms of like seeing that continuation. I mean, you're already set a new all-time high, so you know a lot of people are happy about that. But what does that trigger? A lot of psychological factors in terms of people selling that's been trapped in this for a really, really long time, and it hasn't paralleled the market. All right, it's been slow. Like Bitcoin, like think about Bitcoin and its trajectory. Bitcoin's up here, Ethereum's still down here. Like you're thinking about 2021, Bitcoin being at what would have maybe just set a high at like what 75,000. You know, that's the comparative. All right, that's the comparison when you're thinking about it. Ethereum should be much higher. At minimum, it should be up at these levels. At minimum, right? If you're taking the parallel between the assets, you would expect it to be up here. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, but you're now looking for a breakout retest of the high. All right, so anywhere around like 48.50, you want to be over that, and you want to see a breakout. You want to see a retest of that area, and then you're looking for that continuation up. Right now, we've just gotten rejected, and so we kind of got to wait. Got to wait to see how this plays out. But I would mark that, right? Just draw like a simple like line or a box across your chart and just be like, okay, cool. If we break out, come back, retest that level, we get bullish structure out of that area, then you're looking for that continuation of the upside. Right now, I would say just be freaking careful. It's been a great ride, but you know, there's times where you start thinking about just taking some profits, right? Or at least sliding up your stop loss. Like for us, we had a nice little buy opportunity down here, right here. If you guys are new, like we had a nice buy zone down here at about 1600 that we did actually take. And but I'll say me did not take it all the way up. I was out right here, right? You see how clear this horizontal is? Like that was where the game was over for me. That's where I was comfortable. It was a nice conservative play. You take it from there to here, you know, it's about, I think I closed it was like a 48% spot position. So really, really nice gain for me. But it was a conservative play. And, you know, I was looking for the breakout retest here. I was like, hey, we get a breakout retest here. It's the same thing, right? You look for that. This actually turned into an ascending level of support. It wasn't a true breakout retest. It just ascending level. It had so much bullish pressure once it broke through that it just continued up. But then you did get a breakout retest of this level here. And now it's like next leg up. So, sorry, this is a little bit convoluted for you. When I say here, I'm saying 4,000. Okay, so about 4,000. You did get a nice little breakout retest of that level. So now it's like, do we see that continuation? Do you see that structure that continues with higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low? Coming down to the 382, you know, the 0.5 would be okay. But if you lose that, you know, that's not ideal. That's where you can start seeing kind of that change in trend. And for that reason, if you were to come down to the 618, that is why I wouldn't stay in this trade long. Just full transparency. So in, out, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Key levels for bounces, 4,000. and 28 to about 2,900. That one, man. You come down to here on the daily with the 200. Now we're talking swing trades. This is where we're talking a swing trade. Right here. 28 to 2,900. I would probably mark that on your chart. Not probably. Like, I would mark that on your chart. So what you can do, you can put, let's put something at 3,000. Right there. About 3,000. And you can hide it. Like, you can turn it off. So that's what I had going on before. You can hide it. Let's, what color do we want to make this? I'll just make it white. That's cool. So you hide it, and then you add an alert. This is a way not to clog up your charts with a bunch of lines when you have alerts. Like, because I like to set alerts, right? I got to know when the price is coming down, you know, so I can start evaluating if I want to take a position. Again, not saying we're going to come down here, but if it does, like, we start looking at, you know, taking a play, right? So again, why do I like it? Very clear horizontal with price action. That goes back, I mean, all the way to February 24. You got the 200 working its way up. I mean, that's going to give you price action. I can't guarantee it, but you're very, very likely to be able to squeeze a nice little intraday trade out of that at a minimum. So if we're looking at a swing trade though, what can we do? You know, you take that position, you move that stop loss up, and protect yourself, you know, once you get in profit, and then you hope for it to kind of continue to run, and you just lock in profits. I like to stair step the stop loss personally. Vice just taking TP1, TP2. I just like locking the profits. All right, cool, man. I got a G right here. You know, I'll take a G. This is on swing trades. All right, not when I'm talking about the intraday stuff. So, cool. Let's see here. You'll be posting in the Discord? Yeah, man, I'll post in the Discord. All right, cool. I think that is good. Man, hey, you guys that are new, thank you for being here. Much love, much appreciation. Held pretty much over 30 the entire time today, which is really, really nice to see. So thank you guys for that. That is appreciated. Again, come on over to the Discord. Check it out. It is in the description. It's in the chat. No pressure there. I do have a premium side where we give you guys signals, like actual trade setups. And that's essentially what you're paying for. So it's $20 a month, nothing too crazy. If you guys do want to trade on Bitunix, I can save you some fees on that, 10%. Also in the in the chat, also in the description. And then if you actually join the premium side, I'll give you 20% on those fees as well. So, you know, nice little hookup there. Bitunix has been pretty good to me, and it has worked pretty well. Interface is good. They got good liquidity on the exchange as well, so you don't have to worry about it going under, pulling some FTX kind of crazy stuff. Yeah. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all got some alpha. Much love to you as always. Trade safe, be safe, and I'm out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.